Merry Christmas! Did you know that Christmas is the only holiday I actually enjoy? Because it's the only holiday where I get free shit. Like this cool ass Kenshi sweater that I purchased, which I guess doesn't mean that it's free, but that's besides the point. They say Christmas is a time of giving, so I've decided to give my 12 viewers misery. I'm gonna be real with you guys, when I made my first video on Fooly Cooly Grunge, I had no intention of actually even continuing this series. I just made it because I was really upset at the animation of it. But then some guy in my comments said, "You should watch all of them." So I've spent the last 3 months watching all of them. And I have been living in constant pain. But here we are at the finale. We are at the final season of the Fooly Cooly spin-off season series or whatever, because I still refuse to acknowledge these as seasons of Fooly Cooly. Shoegaze takes place 10 or something years after Alternative, making it the only version of Fooly Cooly that you would need to watch a previous season to fully enjoy. Ironically, this made things worse. This did have me somewhat excited, since Alternative was the only spin-off season I found tolerable. I kind of actually liked it a little bit. Unfortunately, within the first 10 minutes of Shoegaze, my excitement was rendered deader than my libido. First impressions are important, so let's talk about my first impressions of the characters. There are two protagonists in Shoegaze, emo guy Masaki, who I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong. He's basically me when I was in high school.
You could say my first impression of this place was not a great one.
Plus he has schizophrenia.
All right, everyone, let's welcome our new classmate.
I'm always the ugly duckling.
And the piss fetishist, Harumi, who is just overall an annoying character. Take my favorite archetype, the hot-headed, high-energy character,
Sugane Tower. Symbol of Sugane City. 247 meters tall.
Why not 250? Oh my God.
Okay.
and then throw in a generous helping of Femme Coomer.
All that panting is turning me on. Do you need me to carry you like a princess?
You got Harumi now, and it's not good. Neither of these characters show any meaningful growth, and that's likely because we just don't get enough time with them to see any growth that pays off. We also see Kanekamoto as supporting cast in this season. Here she is a fully grown adult who is still struggling with that whole pets incident from Alternative. Also, she's struggling with being an adult in general.
Even when I keep moving forward, I still don't know where it is that I'm headed.
Yeah, I feel that. Kana was the only part of the season I actually enjoyed, and even then her parts felt rushed. And that's because the 3-episode run really hurt this season. Also, this is the only season without Haruko. I just had to fit that in there somewhere. The plot, like everything in this season, felt rushed. Masaki and Harumi are climbing a tower to blow it up for the lulz. During this, we get some flashbacks of their backstories, mixed with some Kana stuff showing where she's been for the past 10 years. Honestly, I can't remember a lot of things that stood out in this season. The first episode has a lot of piss-drinking jokes in it, if you can call them jokes. Harumi's first line is literally,
Hey, wanna drink my pee?
I mean, I'm into weird shit too. Latex, electrocution, cock and ball torture. But the emphasis on piss drinking, pegging, chastity, decapitation is really off-putting when you're introducing your character. Femdom, alien egg insemination, and spousal abuse, to name a few. Even though they do end up stopping with the piss jokes after episode 1, it doesn't really get much better. Episode 2 was basically the same as 1 structurally, only it ends with Harumi getting shot. And somehow, it still feels like nothing has even happened. Episode 3 tries to tie all this stuff together, but considering the length of these laces are 2 inches, the finale falls flat. Like Grunge, this is a case where if I start talking about the plot too much, I feel like I'm going to wind up just paraphrasing the entire season. So I don't want to go too much deeper than we already have. I feel like there are 2 things this series could have done to make it at least somewhat appealing. A sole focus on the 2 kids could give the audience a reason to become invested in them. Given how unlikable and unremarkable the two are, I don't know if this would really change anything. It would also mean we'd have to completely remove Kana. And while Kana did have some plot relevance and some pretty cool scenes, several of them don't push the plot forward. So they wind up taking time away from the other two characters who desperately need to be developed. When I say the 3-episode run hurt this anime, I mean it. Perhaps had Shoegaze received 1 or 2 more episodes, we could have had the best of both worlds. But at that point, I'm basically asking for a rewrite. When it comes to the art direction, not much has changed here. Like Alternative, the unique animation and style shifts the original is known for are absent. The music, on the other hand, is completely different. While it's still by the pillows, this is the only spin-off season that I can think of that I didn't hear a single song from the original OST, which is pretty cool. But even with a new soundtrack, when it comes to the spectacle of this anime, it's still pretty mediocre. Throughout this series of reviews, I have given the sentiment that I wouldn't mind something that was inspired by Fooly Cooly, but tried to distinguish itself. It appears Shoegaze attempted to do that. Oh, how the monkey's paw, it curls. Sure, it's the closest thing we have to a true spin-off, but it's really not that good. I think the biggest problem here is the storytelling, namely the pacing. And while this can be somewhat overlooked when an anime is visually impressive, these problems become much more glaring when it's not. Somehow, within the hour-long runtime, it felt like absolutely nothing happened. All of the characters felt static up until the end, and even then the finale was meh. Like all the other later seasons of Fooly Cooly, it didn't really need to be made. I was hoping for Shoegaze to at least hold up to Alternative, but it let me down there too. Honestly, I can't recommend watching this one at all. If I were to rank all of the seasons of Fooly Cooly, it would go like this, from worst to best. First, we have Grunge is not only the ugliest of the seasons, it also probably is the weakest storytelling-wise, as well as it's just really not good. Next up, we have Progressive, which is pretty much tied with Shoegaze, to be honest with you. It is just a worse version of the original. And then we have Shoegaze, which is nothing but a disappointment in every aspect. Finally, we have Alternative, which I'm not going to tell you it's good, but it's not horrible either. It's a passable anime, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I'm done. I reviewed every spin-off season of Fooly Cooly, and I can assure you that none of them really need to exist. Alternative, while I did find enjoyable, still was a middling anime in the end of it. Like, there are just better anime out there to watch. And that's just it. They're just better anime to watch. Before we end this video, I want to get this off my chest. I have no intentions of reviewing the original Fooly Cooly series. That's because the original Fooly Cooly doesn't really need to be reviewed, and there's already thousands of videos on this website by hundreds of much more talented individuals than myself. So there literally is no point for me to make a video reviewing Fooly Cooly because there's just better crap out there. So yeah. However, I will be trying to find some new anime to review. I might review the Devil May Cry anime, which looks like it's going to be... oh, no, I'm not going to talk about it now. Alright, guys, so feel free to like, subscribe, or cancel me on Twitter, because none of this shit matters anymore.